Sanibonani bafowethu, welcome to another episode of What Keeps You Going with them Charlies. Ningakhohlwa lapho kusubscribe ni like and share. Nisitshele nje ukuthi ninithanda ngeshow yini ningathanda ukuthi ke siyishintshe. So ngijabulile finally sinomjitha. Bahlale bakhala bathi yeah it's females only and stuff, you know, but ngijabulile mhlawumbe siphethe umuntu wesilisa namhlanje Sello Pabane aka Sijo.
Yes, sir.
Would you prefer the nickname?
Yeah, I see Joe. Or Sello, it works better.
Yeah.
Sure.
Usello wezani yakugeza.
Eish.
Or not baba.
No, Sello, now that I have a child, it's better. Yeah. But I always prefer to see Joe.
Yeah. So, before starting this conversation, right?
Yes.
Uthi sowusukile go Facebook for now.
Yeah.
Uthi manje etalog.
Oh man, it goes no cooler, okay?
Yeah.
And I think you just try to distance yourself from problems and trouble sometimes. And you know life in general, sometimes they follow you. So lately, man, I feel Facebook is not conducive to what I'm trying to achieve in my life. So that's why I decided to.
And I feel like on this further, if there's one thing about I understand, at times awenzanga lutho wena, but yiba abantu abazo inbox.
You know, you get inboxes and you know sometimes I don't know, maybe you do as well.
Yeah.
Especially when you're not hiding umuntu wakho. There's something that comes with that. So you find people constantly wanna find out about your life. And sometimes also, I think what I normally post is another thing. Yeah. Because I don't know. So, and I'm not now blaming people for who they are. Some people prefer who post the jokes, which is okay. But I prefer to talk about the realest things that we face in life. So, of course, some women find that interesting because maybe it's not what they are used to. Or rather, it's not what they get most of the time. So now some follow you after the comments, you know. Some follow you and you're like, no, man, this is not the direction I was going for, you know. So it's one of the reasons that made me actually pull back, because normally I don't market my businesses on Facebook. I don't, because what I've noticed, people will just comment blah blah blah, but it's not really for the type of business I push. It's not conducive. Doesn't necessarily make sense. Because most of my clients, I have a different clientele. Mostly I deal in abantu abadala. That's my preference. I don't like to deal with youth most of the time, because for me personally, I feel like they're still finding themselves in the business and there's so much play time. So I prefer abantu sebakhulile. So most of them are not on Facebook. So that's why I don't even market my business on Facebook.
But you know, that thing is show up growth from your side, no cooler, because I know Guti Dala maybe as really move, right? You went like that. As really move up before, let's take it to the moment where you met your wife.
Okay.
And I got because success a girlfriend.
I
was creating a picture. Uguti. Environment.
Look, I was when we met, I was a training advisor. Well, Boston don't call us lecturers; they call us training advisors. So I was a training advisor at Boston. I started in 2008. So of course, Mangala, the thing is, the level and what was tricky with my situation is that I started teaching abantu ngicale nabo isikolo. We understand. So like they hired me whilst like 4 months into being a student. So they gave me an offer. You understand? Because of specifically the faculty, the Nguyo. So they're like, no man, teacher complain at classini, so he can't get to you. So what's the point of you being in his class? So this guy, my teacher felt strong. No, listen, I want to give this guy a chance to actually teach, because whatever I'm trying to get to Abanya Bantu, already he's got it. You understand? So this guy is like, I'm not going to teach. I'm going to give you a chance to teach these people. So that's how I started teaching.
And this is when
2008. So bengingakahlangani nayo Luyanda. So my confidence level at the time was obviously low, you understand.
Yeah.
And nakhona ukushayela nani wasn't in my head. Nakhona nomuntu minikazi.
Yeah.
La ngibuya khona, you understand. So and I loved her so much at the time.
So one girlfriend
At the time you're posting already was now 2 years. We understand.
Yeah.
And it's somebody ngangimphesua for the longest of time. You understand? So I was straight up, like in college, get my education, that's it.
Yeah.
Ugyochola, like honestly, it wasn't part of the agenda. You understand? So, of course, the year goes by. The following year, 2009, now we have new people. Now with new people, they don't know me.
Yeah.
It's a different setting altogether. Of course, they've moved away, isn't this? So these new ones, they don't know me. So now I'm adapting to a culture. You understand?
Yeah.
I mean, the confidence now, it's there. I run the show. I mean, I'm good at what I do. I've gained confidence. So, yeah, the situation becomes different now. Because you have these women you didn't know, Guti. You understand? So now I'm in that position where I'm starting to understand into amachita yenzayo. Okay, kanti siyashela la. I didn't know that prior. You understand? Now I know. So we were busy sending my student cards. So yeah, I saw a student card sakaluyanda.
Okay, I'm trying to figure lapho ne. Just siphisithombo sokuthi mawuthi amajita ayashela. Basuke benzani just umuntu makandlule students basithanda bashela khona nje strategies khona.
Look, I wouldn't necessarily say there's a strategy because our bosses made it clear that we don't date students.
Yeah.
So that was done under carpet. Or I understand because the law forbade ukuthi sijole nama student. But we did it regardless. You understand? And sometimes it's not of our choosing, but also the situation itself.
Yeah.
Because mapega amantombazana, especially if you find them in one confided space, they are always fighting to grab your attention. That's the thing. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Even if some are coming with good intentions, but they are fighting for your attention. That's the problem.
Sure.
So you find Duguti, literally I'm coming to the class to teach, but there's someone who's like, omunye uzoza Monday. It's like, no, thank you for helping me. I decided to bake for you. It's an example. So you cannot not notice this person going forward.
Yeah.
Come on now. You understand? And those things happen like a lot. Omunye umnceda ngeschoolwork uyaphuma yokuthengela McDonald's and be like, no, I'm grateful, thank you. And you're like, hey, okay, I didn't ask for this. And also saying no, it's rude. You understand? So
Yeah,
now,
totally.
going forward, you have some sort of soft spot for this person. Whether you like it or not, it goes there. You understand that they will just come. Some are unnecessary. Normal, I understand it. They will just come like, hey, like I don't understand this. You understand? Then you explain yourself. Like I'm saying, it's not like they don't necessarily understand. It's just that they want your attention. And of course, I'm doing my job as a lecturer.
Yeah.
I'm helping the student. You understand? So to answer your question, Amachita, what we used to do is that either uzoshela loyo muntu or yenushela well. It was always two things. It's either you want them or they want you. So at times we didn't necessarily do the shelling part.
Yeah.
So you know how it is. I mean, things are happening quick. Sometimes I'll share like, hey, Joe, I'm off on Friday. Come through.
Yeah.
I've never been a motel or booking guy who go.
Yeah.
So normally Friday I'm off. Was a guy. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's how it went. So I didn't have a specific strategy to use. It just happens. When you're minding your own business and this person years later, now you're about to tell years later.
Yeah.
It's now your decision to say, am I doing it or not? Which most of the time we did it.
So asiyeke kuluyanda uluyanda by the way unkosikazi kaSijo, right? So First encounter wokhuluma ngeJulian Cat. Kuthi hlangana phi iJulian Cat?
So we were sitting Samachita. I remember we were in room number 1 because there were rooms. So we were specifically in room number 1. It was early January, so bebangakaqali. So we were busy on my student cards. We are sorting them. So I had a couple of them because of course I wasn't charmed by Uluyanda. I won.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. I'm being honest. So there were few.
Now you're asking.
Yeah, now you're asking. There were few.
Honest.
Yeah, I'm being honest. There were few other women who caught my attention.
Yeah.
You understand? So Luyanda was amongst them. So I had a fair share, man. I'm a student cards, maybe 6, 7.
Sure.
We are told. So I'm like, okay, these are my targets. I'm at Babla. I don't know them. I don't even know them. And you must know, I still say, but now Imediam doesn't know what I do. Scale.
Yeah.
You understand? And you know, as much as it was wrong, it kept us going in a way. You won't believe it kept us going. You understand? It makes you look forward to tomorrow. Like, yeah. You understand? So, Uluyanda was amongst them. So, I call all of them. Tati phone, nyabafonela bonke, labantama potential wam.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Gunjani, you're speaking to Sicho from Boston. When you come to collect your books, make sure you see me.
Yeah.
You understand? So all of them like, oh, okay, no problem. No, here's my number, because I number I'm beginning so far. So I'm giving my number. I'm like, yeah. So basically, I give them my number. Free. I'm like, here's my number. Feel free to call me at any given time, sharp. So they came to collect their books. They were lining up. Of course, they were in Kayang according to what Zakena Yabon with the lag Nentehamba. What? Yeah. And of course, already now she knows me, even though she didn't meet me like personally. You understand? She knows me. Uchikuno Sijo, and this particular Sijo, obviously now she's struck. Yeah. Okay. Already I'm getting special attention. Yeah. Okay. Now at the time, I don't know no lie. Coming from where I came from before Boston, I was always a humble guy, and I strongly didn't believe in cheating. Yeah. I'm being honest. It's just that the environment has its own way sometimes to change umuntu. You understand? So most of the time, I never used the word "I love you." Yeah. Yeah, I always had a problem with the word "I love you." I mean, I don't use those words recklessly. Yeah. So I didn't necessarily say to these women in Bafonele when I meet them now that I love them. Yeah. I mean, Uluyanda knows. It took time for me to even say I love you. Because for me, it symbolizes a commitment. Yeah. Which was my problem to say, am I committed to this person? I'm not even sure what in I don't know. So for me to say I love her, it's a drag for me. And I'm not being honest at the same time. So she came, she got her books, she left. Okay, I'm happy because I was too busy, and now you must understand all of my potentials are here. So I'm happy omunye. You know what I mean? So amalanga ahambe sekayaqala esikolweni. So now she's sitting next to a computer. Then I just go to her like, kunjani sharp? Kunje, what books are you doing? Now I'm doing 1, 2, 3. This particular one was ofundiswa yimi. Yeah, because she was doing HR. So within those books, 3 of them were accounting books, and that's where I come in because I'm fundis accounting. So now that's how we got to meet the class in. Yeah. You understand? So I started throwing small hints. Because remember, all this time I'm Mshelang. Yeah. So now I'm saying to her, hey, at the time we learned about Malaysia. And then she was always fly. You understand? You know? So I used to go by that. Like, hey, when I'm Alishwako, man, you have beautiful eyes. So every time she'll be like, that's all. I'm like, yeah, that's all. What else is there? You know, because I was trying to just get a feel of her. Yeah. To Chironja. Will be like, try and compliment, and she'd be like, no, that's inappropriate. So I wanted to understand the feel yakhe ukuthi what type of person is she. So I kept going into one. Yabo, to a point she's like, kahle ufunani, you always talking about the same thing. Then I asked for my number, like, give me your numbers. Yabo. So she gave me her numbers. I remember first time in phone ela. Honestly, I didn't even know what to say over the phone. I was like, Ukraine, okay. Amara, there's something about amehlo, you know? Like, and finally she's like, dude, just say whatever you want to say, man. I like you. I understand. I like you. And I remember she didn't like me at the time.
Maisasu.
Yeah, Maisuga, she didn't like me. It's just that Ugabona now you acknowledge fundisa. So either way I must just try to maneuver around here, but she didn't like me. You understand? But I wasn't bothered, Nami, at the time, because remember, I mean, and Epostin is setting a corner. It was 3 settings. Actually 4. Kuna abantu abangena ekseni baphuma ngo11. So nginochair lapho. Bese abanye bangena ngo11 bachayisa ngo2. Nginochair review lapho.
Sure.
And then kuna abanye bangena ngo2 and then bahamba ngo5, which is Ulianda was in that group. So Ulianda, by the time as a scale, I mean, I've seen 2 of my girlfriends. She doesn't
so right.
Oh, great. So I wasn't bothered. I wasn't bothered. So yeah, that's how we met and that's how it went.
So ngifuna ukwazi kunini la ibe khona official ukuthi okay manje umuntu wami.
Okay, just months before Ipeteyam, we started speaking. Like now we started speaking seriously. And I think any Intonai that got to her was that, okay, this is one guy who's giving me attention. And I mean, I accept it very well. Whereas there's so many people who are giving this guy attention. We understand. So I think now she started taking it serious to a point where, you know, Lenda would call me like maybe 5 times a day.
Sure.
We understand. Sometimes it's class in your phone. And she's still coming to school. She'd call me like, I don't check her. And we'd have these long conversations over the phone. Normally she'd call me a little line. You know, you know, so sometimes I'd go out of the class just to pick up before Nike. Skulume, and I tell her, look, I'm still in class. We cannot have a lengthy conversation, you know. So Iskadma Slogo Siya, the conversation started picking up to a point, Nami. I would text her like, I miss you. We understand. So finally we said class in Yam and then Yam Fundisa. We're starting now to talk more and more and more and more. You understand? And mind you, Mina I know what in no muntu, ne? So I'm not even worried to go to no muntu. That's the thing. All of these girls, I wasn't thinking whether uno muntu because I wasn't even entertaining that. You understand? I entertain. I mean, I just know what I want. That's it. And it's not your guy.
I'm no mood now.
I'm no mood at the end of the day. You understand? So we started talking and talking and talking to a point where she knows. She namanje I suck at that, you know. So because I don't know. As she says, maybe I'm going to but we just started talking, and I think she started getting to know me. Then she realized, man, this is a cool guy. So she started opening up, slowly opening up, slowly opening up. Then we started kicking it. Like, can you come through, Ekaya? Yeah, no, I can come through. But the contrary to that is that Ulianda saw me eskolweni, right? And eskolweni, of course, with what I'm doing, I'm supposed to look formal. But here's the thing. Mina, I grew up in Kukwini. So now, Ulianda didn't know what in Kukwini. Because
even when now, lecturer.
Even after we spoke, she didn't know what in Kukwini. Because now that's one part. I mean, how would we go there? We can't. So most of the time, it's just about us, me and you. We understand. So I invited her to come through. So she came. I remember Ngamjel with Ayehle Epingo.
Yeah.
You know? So that time the we chicken licking. So I walked all the way from Ekaya to Epingo, and then Sayekai. You understand? And another big issue is that when they took me in Boston, we had a contract. The contract stipulated to Gucci, I'm not getting paid. I wasn't paid, Mina. You understand that the contract was, in exchange for your salary, we're gonna cover your fees. So whatever you wanna study,
covered.
Shoot your shot.
Yeah.
We've got you. You understand? So Ulianda didn't know those things because those things are, I mean, how would I tell her? You understand?
And it's private stuff.
It's private stuff, and I don't think we were that deep at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so she's coming. I pick her up. We go to my place. First of all, Mali. Let me just state that I don't have money. We understand.
Yeah.
I offered her Masugeka. I offered her God. I'm like, that's the best I can do for you. You understand? And now, I think she didn't want to show how disappointed she was, but she was.
Yeah.
Because I took her eka gumkuku. Kwa mina selfie room yambe kuizozo.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm told. That was 2009, and akuna case la sihlala khona.
Ayihambila yikho at all.
Ayihambanga yikho. And remember, nakhona I didn't even tell her, look, I don't have don't have a case until she said to me, ngicela ungicharge the phone. And I was like,
sure.
So she's like, oh, like kubalekile. I'm like, no, like we live in a setting where we don't have electricity. So she was starstruck, like, wow, okay. Oh, wow, okay. So the toilet now, we didn't have a proper toilet. You understand?
You let them go.
You understand?
Sure. But so, did you prepare her before the
I didn't. And I'll tell you my reasons.
Yeah.
The first thing is that I wasn't sure if I'm going to take our relationship serious. 2, Mnemedi ihlala like us. I don't need to explain myself. She knows the situation. So, 3, for me it was too easy. If Ulianda is going to come here and go home after all the experience and don't change on me,
yeah,
I'm going to take her serious. For me, it was too easy. It was like, she didn't know, but for me, it was like...
So it tests nyana.
Yeah, for me, I thought in half clash in
yeah.
So I wanted to see how she reacts to my truth. You understand?
Yeah.
So she came to my house. I'm like, Ntalala. She's like, you can't be serious. I'm like, Ntalala. Avuli room lam. I'm like, I live here. This is where I live. She was like, oh wow, okay. Wow. So I could see her, she's speechless.
Yeah.
You understand? And she didn't know what to say or what to do. But me, now in my head, I'm like, you know what? Today will tell me. By the time this day ends, I will know, Guti, I'm going to live with you or not. So, Saploma, the best thing that happened that day was the fact that I gave her my honest self out of my usual, which is sitting as a scale.
Yeah.
We just sat on the bed, Sahlal, and talk. And talk and talk and talk. Who are you?
Yeah.
Ubuya Gopi. Tell me about your life. Do you have a boyfriend? You know, we went deep. Things we didn't talk on your phone. We started talking now. You know, and I think she was also intrigued by our questions in Mbuza. Okay, there's more to this than I thought. So, of course, now Ulianda is like me. She talks a lot.
Yeah.
So we started engaging, and that's another thing. Food young attracted to her. She began bored. You know, sometimes you get bored. You ask a question and they're straight to the point.
Yeah.
You wanna know in detail. So she could explain herself in detail.
Yeah.
You understand? So I don't know, like my feelings started growing. You understand?
Yeah.
We had our first kiss very lapo in my room. Yeah, bo. I was like, are you hungry? Yeah. Okay, asam yok ting helicopter. I'm taking helicopter. No cold drink, bro. I'm on a tight budget. Petty choco, sidla makota to 10-10. You understand? But within that, I was being honest.
Yeah.
So after that, ngamkhapha. And remember, Ulanda, she's not like me. Akangena igazi. Lana zanga kena school ukhazi.
Oh.
So for me, she still does. She has that snobbish thing.
Yeah.
You know. So for me, ngumfana ukhulele igazi ngene igazi skin.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to see ukuthi react kanjani to that.
Yeah.
Is she adapting Imlisikota? Probably she's used to a sandwich. And the cheapest one on the menu, a tiger. Like I'm giving the best I can as a man.
Yeah.
You understand? So I'm kapa in my taxi, no taxi. So later on she calls me. Like thank you for today. It was very special. Okay, hold on. It was special. Okay. Now there's something there. You understand? There's something. Now I'm starting to take it serious. Okay? All right, sharp. So we started talking, and she didn't act awkward afterwards. Instead, the same week, on a Friday, she's offering, like, Friday at 7 and I'm coming.
Sure.
Okay. Now she comes prepared. Uza no gudla, yena self. She's like, hey, dude, I cooked. Now gudla. Okay.
So it's a good way to a men's heart.
It is the way, you know, because I'll tell you, I've always been that guy or awkward in terms of certain details.
Yeah.
I'm selective, and don't get me wrong, and by all means necessary.
Yeah.
There are some people who can cook, and I'd be like, nah, I'm good. No man She knows me. I'm very particular.
Yeah.
So even when she brought food, I was skeptical. Like, okay, can she cook? Can she not cook? I saw corn. Okay, I tried the food and I'm like, okay, damn, she can cook. Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, see, so I'm realizing, man, I enjoy spending time with this one. I understand. And I think the second time around, if I'm not mistaken, that's when even the intimacy started. Because the first time we didn't go there.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, it gets worse now. Young Jola, like, hey, Zaki. So, now I'm like, this one is for keeps.
Yeah.
But now I'm still not 100% certain. Young John. But somewhere in my head, I'm like, this one is for keeps. So let's see how it unfolds. So from that day, I offer, can I come in? Yeah, you can come. So Maji, it's getting deeper, Maji.
Say serious.
Yeah, it's getting deeper. And I'm saying I say peace up here. Yabona to immediately kasi, yabona anxiety serious. Na yakapuli weight yakhe.
Yeah.
So yabona, there's that distance now, ekaluba corner, and Ulianda is like occupying the space. You understand? So
intentional.
Yeah, intentionally.
So ngifuna ukwazi right ukuthi mase niqalile ke ukuthi okay now ngase serious.
Yeah.
Inkinga iqala from your side now. Ngaye ku relationship yenu or mase u discover more ngaye mhlawumbe uthola ukuthi lokushwali vele umuntu osingile umuntu ofuna nje kuba nawe.
Okay.
Nje ama challenges.
I challenge yokuqala is that I found awkward is Mina iphone was never on silent. To this day she knows. Her phone was always on silent. So as I'm taking it serious now, I'm questioning, why is your phone never ringing every time now? So I discovered Guti, she actually switches her phone off. Completely. I understand. I think that's when I realized Guti, she might be dating somebody or possessive. You understand? So she would switch off like completely. At the time she had 2 phones, all phones off. But my phone is still on.
Yeah.
You understand? So I realized that okay, there's something fishy here.
Yeah.
So now that we're taking each other serious, like this was for me, it was validation. Like, okay, this chick magic, I'm gonna take it serious.
Yeah.
It was the same year, You understand? She made it very special.
Yeah.
Umuntu amasekasi ngithumele SMS ekuseni uyangiculela, that's it. Uluyanda comes to school, she ordered a cake for me. A very big cake, personalized. My name all over it. She brought it to school, got all the attention of people. You understand? They started singing for me, and she had my presents, you know. Sometimes she's like, look, dude, let's go out. Remember at the time, Uluyanda bekasebenza and
so ufunda part-time.
She's studying part-time, so full-time she's working. So she's got money. And I mean, I'm volunteering on the other side. There's no money coming in. You understand? So she took me out the very same day.
Yeah.
We went to lunch. She paid.
Sure.
Yeah, but so Prime Nomabati naive. You're gonna take this person serious.
Yeah.
I took her serious. Now I can honestly say, ngiyakuthanda Joe.
Yeah.
Yangithola. But now she's playing a tricky game now. You understand? She's ula. So I cannot like now the problem is that now saying my feelings ngiyamthanda. But now I cannot get her. Like I understand on that aspect. Kunobutricky nyana ngingabutholi. So Mineka is into Savaikrem. Ngihlukane naye completely. Cut her off. Now it's me and Luyanda.
So
big now. Laba baseskela nabo, especially after the stand she pulled. Laba baseskela, they are questioning one law in. So I came out clean like this person yana is yachola much. You understand?
Yeah.
And there was no comparison. In my head I was like, there's no comparison. I know what I know and I'm happy with what I know so far. You understand? She was a game changer. You would never say serious. She was a game changer. And what do I mean by that? Compared to everything Bengiya's, she changed the game. So now I'm serious. I even introduced her to my mom. My mom, Mamkava, Tamalami, my two sisters as well. So Eka Uluyanda, now I'm some hiding.
Yeah. So
she comes freely. Sebayamaz, Bateba, Okimakoti. Guba Bagazi. You understand? Okay, Sharp. Another thing that really got to me was one time Mrs. Kayla, she calls me. And this moment that you called her because it really put a stamp for me.
Yeah.
She called me, she asked for my ID number. So, as I told you, I'm somebody curious. So I'm like, hi, why? What ID? She's like, no, give me your ID number. I'm like, why? She's like, bruh, just relax. Do you trust me? I'm like, yeah, I trust you. Give me your ID number. So I gave her the ID number. A few minutes later, I get an SMS notification. Hi, you've booked for Elena's exam with traffic department at Kempton Park. On this day, at this time, you should report. Hold on. So I'm calling her. And you must know, Prime, I come a Winnie Mandela. At the time in my life, license is not a priority. There's a lot that needs to be in order. But the license, it's not one of them. Yeah. You understand? So now I'm in this opportunity where I didn't even think, it didn't cross my mind.
Sure.
And you must know, at the time, already she has a license. So she's calling me a few minutes later, like, dude, I booked, Hore, you're going to test, you're going to get a learners. So what we need to do now, we need to get you a K53. You understand? I'll help you where I can. Hey, hold on now. As if I didn't have enough validation, you know? Now she's like bringing the A game, bruh. Yeah. So like, I'm tata serious, man. I'm like, no, man, there's life here. Yeah. This chick is bringing life. And she's bringing things in Gazazi. So I have to take her serious, one way or another. And I had no other choice but to introduce her to my parents. Like, guys, I know it's not, I mean, it wasn't even 6 months, bruh.
Sure.
Like, and then, okay, my mom and dad bang jump, but my dad come, they're like, dude, don't you think it's too quick? And you know the tricky part, Narma Pedi.
Yeah.
And then I always dated Mazulu. You understand? Nalo begum Zulu. And I always went for amantombazana amhlophe.
Yeah.
That's my
My yellow
preference.
bone.
Yeah, I always went for, you know. So, yeah, because I wanted abantwana abamhlophe. Don't get me wrong. I always said that. I always said, ngifuna abantwana abamhlophe.
Wabona nje akhuluma sibali ngomhlophe ufike wazi ukuthi
No, look,
dayinga.
Ekaya, see, we all like this. So I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I want to add some spark. Or what?
Yeah.
I always told my mom, is either I'm going to come with like untombazana mhlophe or I'm going to date a colored. That's always been me.
Yeah.
She knew now, my mom. I always said, ngifuna abantwana abamhlophe. Yeah, bo. And of course, you know, yeah, mntwana mhlophe vele, you know. So I was more than happy with that. Yeah, understand? Because it was always my preference. Yeah, bo. So anyhow, abazali bami bayamazi. My mom loved her. Because another thing, a tricky Kaluyanda at the time, either Mother's Day, she brings my mom something.
Sure.
Father's Day, she brings my dad something. So Nabazali bami, they are taken now. They're like, hey, we see this one. You know? Yeah, and my dad is not too strict, but he's very decisive. He's like, dude, choose.
Sure.
I never, like from now on, I won't allow you to bring girls like one.
Yeah.
So into a corner, mina ngazi law, and we're gonna stick to law.
Yeah.
I had no choice. Namatane sharp daddy. Anyway, yeah, law nami am frostana. You understand? So, yeah, it was Luyanda. Now the problem starts in Kaslak. I'm like, I'm coming over. So I went.
Yeah.
So the sad thing is, I didn't know which Luyanja. Uchola 2 streets away from Gibo. So mina ngiyafika la ngiyamfonela emfethu ngila, she comes out, asingene sengena. Tricky part, Uluyanda une room. Nice setting mfethu, ushaya nge-TV lapha, sound system yonke into mfethu, ama-tall boy lapha uyangithola. Ulala ku-double bed, mina ngigila ku-single bed, uyangithola. So I was like, yabona la. Plus, worst part, I've never had image in a room. So it's kind of exciting, yana, you know?
Sure.
So at least in the space, yana say to mangshai around, unlike so mestrati. So, okay, ugogo uyambuza ubani lo, hayi uyayijika ethi hayi ngena naye isikole. Sizenza ama-homework. So I'm like, okay. But anyway, as long as I'm body, sharp, sangene roomini. We spend the whole day. Of course, nothing is going to happen there, you know. So later on, yankapa. So magankapa. So you know, I'm ekasigunjani man. I'm actually, especially at the time, but I'm a group, I'm a Korean and stuff. So they saw me mangabanai. So in my thinking, some guy called a boyfriend Galuyanda to say, dude, there's a guy in media. Yabo? Bro, this guy is tall, this guy cooking thing, he's like puffed up. Yabo. And me at the time, I wasn't even looking like this. Things as a skinny now, myself, young John. So, shine vest cheat and I'm a tattoo. Yabo. For the Luyanda, show whoop. Landa. I asked that TV got she was honest. She's like, no, Hamba go made line A+. And this guy came rushing, bro. Yabo. So whilst he hamba uncap, so good and you heard money yazana no Luyanda. So yambuli say manu umamncane wakho kuphi and stuff. So bayama bayaxoxa ngibakha space kancane yabo. Mang shifta kancane. Hey man, I see this guy coming. Yabo no uyambona lo, like this guy is rooting for war. Uyambona it's really coming for it. Something in me is like, this is the boyfriend, no mabatin. Because remember when I phoned Luyanda, I had the conversation. And this guy a fig and fig. This guy mara figure there. Yabayega bayakhuluma naye afike ame njengami. Uluyanda umela mina ngimele that guy amela. Yabo. So Uluyanda ucedile ukukhuluma manje akasazi aye kuphi. Yabo. Hey, nangame in the middle. So uchita sondele. Nami asondele, yabo. Because one thing about me, I'm a cool guy, man. Yabo, mina nginazi into ezibhayibha nenkani.
Yeah.
Yabo. Yeah, there's a lot of it. Yabo. So, but I don't show it unless it has to come out.
Yeah.
Yabo. So ngisondele. So uchita abuza uLuyanda ubani lo yabo Luyanda died. This is a friend of mine from school yabo
Yeah.
so bekafunani kimi yabo so I saw the tone the guy bekakhuluma ngayo ukuthi no laba it looks like there's no life here athi hlezi nje yabo
Yeah.
so mina ngikhuluma noJita ngikhuluma noLuyanda like ejo usangikhapha yabo of course uJita ngimazi
Yeah.
so angeke sicoce nix mina naye ulapha ngiyam avoida yabo
Yeah.
angikhapha so this guy like ukhuluma noLuyanda still like awindawo yabo so uLuyanda manje ngiyambona uyaphenika because this guy bekafuna umshaya yabo so she ran weze muva kwami yabo so now it's me and the guy manje sibhekene manje yabo so this guy is like ethi asambe yabo so I'm asking uLuyanda is like to this guy usithi ungamfaki kulento yabo kahle kahle sijoyina ngabe uyahamba yabo so my question is are you going to be safe ngimbuza ula uJita like are you going to be safe if mina ngihamba like no uzoba crane ane sharp are you sure like
Yeah.
uzoba sharp ngibele taxi the minute ngibele taxi ngibone the way this guy man handles her
Yeah.
yabo? Okay, I didn't have a choice and at the time nami ukhumbule ngisafika mfethu
Yeah.
yabo apparently they've been in a relationship for 3 years at the time
Sure.
mina ngisaphusha ama months mfethu khani ngifika mfethu
3 years.
this woman una 3 years akulento yabo so ngifike ekhaya mangifike ekhaya ngifone yabo mina ngazi ukuthi bayi2 so I'm calling like ejo uGrand athi le IT ngishayile yabo ngitrapile masiceda ukuhlukana siye kubo masifika wangishaya yabo ash so like uphila jwang how do you live with this person like lo muntu lo akatampeki la type yabona mamtshela ukuthi angisakufuni ukuthi ngangitsheli leyo nto yabo so for the first time in my life Brian I took it upon myself to say I am too deep now I'm too involved
Yeah.
I'm going to fight for this girl and I mean I've always been that guy like I can't never I value my life yabo
Yeah.
but for the first time I was like I felt like she needed saving and I took it upon myself with how long zum save lo I'm going to fight for this girl
And did you do that?
I did because uJita I remember wangifonela call me I mean remember at the time now sekazi igama lami sure sithi sure ngikhuluma nobani sure okay so I'm starstruck like okay ufunani
Yeah.
it's like kahle wena Chita umameli ne uLuyanda medium and I told you uhlukane naye so I'm like hey ngiyaqala ukuba kule situation ekanje yabo
Yeah.
and you must know mina nginaye akuna Grootman like I'm the only son ekhaya so trust me if there's war I know ukuthi ngiwanda you know so I'm like hey this guy and he's older than me way older than me yabo so I'm like this guy engiyoyenza kanjani le ndaba but I'm like fuck man I'm gonna fight I don't care
Yeah.
so this guy started calling me kwaba habit yabo anytime he wishes to call me call the craziest part is this guy bekafonisa neimpintshi zakhe
How?
in fact like busy scale or whatever you just receive a phone call hello sure esithi uhlukane nomuntu kanje mfana sizokufuna sizokuthola will kill you blah 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 you understand
Sure.
so that's when I realized no I'm dealing with abantu naive la you understand now I took my game to the next level okay physique I'm like okay physique it's not going to happen for me yabo now I need to play a mental game if there's one thing they don't know it's that I'm smart so I'm going to beat them at their own game yabo so this is what I do the first thing I'm going to make Luyanda obsessed of me you understand now we're sitting down we are restructuring I realize ukuthi Luyanda doesn't get a quality time I'm giving her quality time much you understand I realize ukuthi okay le khosa yenzayo uLuyanda scale uJita can't even help nakancane I used to take incwadi zakaLuyanda ngizistudishe mina you understand so that when she comes because normally Fridays bengingaspani so Friday should come because the Friday eBoston strictly bekuza abantu ababhalayo. So if she's not writing, usuka kube ekseni ngathi yesigela kanti uza kimi. You understand? Ngimcala ekseni ngimgelezise. So I was winning her already.
Yeah.
You understand? And now she's starting to love setup yam. Look, Mangizala, it's peaceful, it's quiet.
Yeah.
This guy gives me attention. You understand?
Yeah.
So now slowly waqala ukuthanda le setting yam manje. Very ironic, but she started loving setting yam because sometimes she would just come ngambizanga. And that's when I realized this person now uyayithanda le setting yabo. So uchita ngapha uyafona sengiyayijika yonke lento. Ngithi mina ngihlukene nomuntu wakho. Yabo, umuntu wakho ngihlukene naye kudala. So uchita now is confused. Ulanda mangana umcima ifoni. Mina ngithe ngihlukene naye.
Yeah.
Kanti ula the whole day ula. You understand?
Sure.
And now, I mean, obviously, intimacy is also on another level.
Yeah.
Remember, uchita mindset yakhe, it's not straight. So he's not doing the right things. So I'm capitalizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on a Saturday, Ulanda would be like, I'm coming. Come. I figure, dude would call, sure. Ulanda gezanga lapha ngidaya bona so dakiwe wena manje. Seluhlukane nemeli yakho.
So now
randomly. Funny thing, this guy had 3 or 4 numbers. I had all his numbers. Yabona ngasavile. Number 1, number 2, number 3. So he would call. Like magafona futhi angisatshela it's like ufunani. It's like yeah. Ulanda akekho la ngidawo emtakiwe. So buza mina ukuthi Ulanda. So I could see now igame yami yamshaya manje itrapa yena self. So that's when I took advantage. Yabo. With okay, I'm going to spend more time with this girl. I'm going to change this girl's life now. You understand? And law, because it's fighting Nam, he's not doing the right things.
So, imagine from the conversation,
understand
to both determined, right, to win and beyenze.
Yeah.
So, from further point, go to imagine you need to go to as Leander saying right now. But from the story the way in a corner, ngathi siyopela ngokuthi vele kube wakho but at some point niyena hlukana yini ngedala lokho so wenza umsebenzi ongaka.
For me, my hard work was in vain because I think I started to understand Uluyanda when I'm older. Remember, the age gap between me and Uluyanda is 1 year. So I started understanding Uluyanda when I'm getting older.
Yeah.
At the time, Uluyanda and I got confused. Why? First thing, this guy is great, which is me.
Yeah.
However, he treats me well. I'm shy. Since I was born, I'm shy with this facade.
Yeah.
I'm shy even my daughter. You know what I mean? So the issue here is that can this guy provide a substantial future? I think young as she was, she went there and on. I got to look, low young shy, but equally we are going to keep her. Kwala mafona waphetha ethu wathenge ucheat. Mina anginamali.
Sure.
So she was caught up in between. And this is why at the time I didn't understand her.
Yeah.
I understood her as I went ngempilo and I grew. I realized Guti, if I was a female and caught up in the same situation, I think it would be tricky because uyangithanda yes, ungiphatha kahle yes, but this guy can't provide. I can't even take her to McDonald's, bruh.
Sure.
That's how bad it is.
You
understand? And this guy has a car.
Sure.
Chita spana crane. Chita uthenga amafoni, uthenga impahla, uchita uyamkhipha. You understand? And another thing, mina angizwani no groover. At the time ululu beka groover. You understand? So there were things, those things she didn't like about me because I think to her mind is like, you are young for these things, bro.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be taking life this serious. Yeah, bro? So in a way, as much as she was dealing with pain on the side, but she was like, okay, I can tolerate pain because it comes with 1, 2, 3. You understand? So I got tired, man. I'm like, when you are playful, I can't do this anymore. You're very playful. So I'm going to let you know, Cheetah, do your thing. Luanda's never dumped me. Never, ever.
Yeah.
So that
what's this one event enzakalayo? They went to feel like doesn't.
I had started my company. Bengiceda ukuresign eBoston. I had started my company. It was 2011.
Yeah.
So she came to me. In fact, I got a call from a friend of mine who was also working with me at Boston, who was still at Boston. Ati, did you see Uluyanda? I was like, no. It was a Monday. He's like, Echo Uluyanda ulimele. She got hurt. Okay. What do you mean she got hurt? She's like, Echo, she's not okay. Yabo. Physically, she's hurt. Ulimele. Yabo. So, because she was doing back and forth, I didn't even bother to call. So she came to my offices. Yabo. In Kempton Park. She's like, dude, can you speak? So she had a sort of mask like Mlomen. So I was like, what's up? She's like, no, can we go outside and talk? I'm like, okay. So we went to the balcony. So we keep her length. She's like, hey, dude, I didn't want you to hear ngabanye abantu ngilimele. Uchita ungilimazile. Yabo. Ungilimazile. It got physical to a point hore namaphoyisa sekaphakathi kule ndawo. Nabazali sebangenile. So I was like, Leonda, I can't do this. I can't.
Sure.
Anye ngithi ngakushayi uzolimazwe enye out and mina I'm still with you. So it can't happen. So that day, literally, I meant what I said. I was like, I'm done. I can't.
Yeah.
Anye ngithi ngak-abuse omunye umuntu uphinde ubuye kimi. That's too much. So sahlukana vele. And she thought that day, I think that day she needed me more than any other day. But I was like, nah, this time I choose not to be there. I'm not.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to give you the comfort of eating, are you going to go back?
Sure.
So I gave a tough laugh. I was like, no, go back to Yena Leomund. What's next on the menu? So go kill yourselves. So I was excluded. And I meant it because after that, I dated someone.
That one, right?
Yeah, that one.
So before sibuyela kusitolo sakho Luyanda, ukuthi nibelana kanjani kuqala yini? Lona ngiya-understand ukuthi waba serious ke bongadlali.
Manje ngidila netsotsi ke manje. Uyangithola manje ngidila nesigebengu ke manje.
My from Utokazi.
Uluyanda bekangaya inkinga ne?
Yeah.
But manje ngidila netsotsi. You understand? I'm dealing with somebody. Hey, lapha ngidile netsotsi. That girl was young, but she was smart. Very smart. And I understand now. Though abantu babe late ngezinye izinto, like things like umjoliyanyisa babe late for me because mina uqale lapho kungitrapa ke. You know, when I, like I told you Mascala, I normally don't say I love you. I take time. I took time kule ntombazane as well. But I was firstly attracted by the physique.
Yeah. And
secondly, so for the first time in my life, I'm like, let me go for something different. Maybe laba abamhlophe bane drama yabo. So this girl, the way she's so set up ngakhona, okay, uni out first of all naikazi. Angazi, they've been pushing for 4 years. And remember this girl, angihlangana naye ngisafundisa sengiphumile eBoston. I went to pick up, remember besengiqala business yami. So now I went to Boston because I was studying UNISA. So UNISA notified ukuthi diploma yami seyikhona.
Yeah.
So I can pick it up from Boston. So I went to Boston to pick it up. So mangilanda diploma yami, I'm like, hey, angumntwana yabo. So ngimlande. Remember dala ngule game. La sekuyinto encane yabo. So ngimlande ngikhulume naye angithambele yabo. So ngimtshela mina ngisekho la eBoston so yabo. The craziest thing is Lochiri wenza lento bengifundisa yabo. So we started talking. Hey, into yethu happened fast because yena ngamthatha serious word go.
Sure.
But listen, I've been through 1 2 3 4 5. This is what I want. Are you that? She's like, no, definitely I am. Hey baba, Lochiri, I told you again. Lochiri, she had a boyfriend la abuya khona. Kubo kuse Davidson, so she had a boyfriend at Davidson. Makafika eBoston ujola with another colleague of mine.
Yeah, my daughter.
And then ujola nami. She would play her cards so right that Mageza game sometimes bega she phone the whole weekend, I she Friday. Others we tata Sunday. Of course, temptations and everything, but you end up going through the phone. So I go through the phone, man. I scrutinize and pega yonkinto. Phone is clean.
None next.
For the whole weekend, not even a single guy calls the phone. So and I'm number one pega lapa. I'm saving a car, my saving my baby. So I was taking a talo, you know. And the funniest thing is, for the first time in my life, I dated somebody who was Nkoshuliande. Completely. I'm
Sure.
This chick would come, Ekaya. She was very humble, very quiet, very humble.
Yeah.
Young John Muntu, manje, makayenza mistake, and then you are calling her into order. You would even feel bad for calling her into order. She was that humble. So Loche Rebecca Feila Eskela, which the former school show, so she came to Boston to further the same thing. 11 ifundis.
Yeah.
So Loche ngamkelezisa mfethu. Took my time ngamkelezisa because the young version of me, I didn't believe in this thing, yokjola, saga, neskisane, intimacy, and that's it.
Yeah.
I believed in pushing umuntu. Look, I'm gonna add value to your life.
Yeah.
You understand? So honestly, I forgive value Ntombazana because she graduated and she was top student the very same year.
Sure.
You understand? So I was like, no, man,
Yeah.
the problem became when she fell pregnant, and I thought it was my child. So I took her to a doctor, to a specialist, I'm excited, I'm paying that.
Sure.
So how I check out scanner, they give us a date with she fell pregnant on roughly this weeks.
Yeah.
So you should expect Mtuana roughly, okay, I was born in July and Mtuana and they said we must expect Mtuana first or second week July. Okay,
sure,
I'm excited.
Isn't
In fact, room lami, as I told you, we also one room I extend. I enter by 3 room. Yabo? Nyaseva. Because I started my business, so in Kaimali. Nyaseva, long yam shot.
Sure.
I was determined to marry that woman. Long yam shot. So the problem starts. Mangbuya doctor with nix. Lamate do doctor kulmanga nix no mapatidi. Zawa wala nix. So you calculate never. Okay, but okay.
You never know. Yeah.
But okay, sharp. I'm in doubt. Yabo. But I give it the benefit. Yabo no, we'll see. The problem started abaleti sisukai. And mineka saying bajeli good. Lamuntu kulelo. And my parents didn't have a problem because what they knew I was always responsible. So even though I was young at the time, they knew that dude is gonna play his role.
Yeah.
You understand? So my mom asked me, so Jingwabang is the sitting tina. I don't know, and already room la me sitting say ready. Name passes on and tingile.
Sure.
I was ready. You understand? This chick comes out, bombshell. Dude, I have something to tell you. I'm listening. Yeah, there's a chance you go to Lumtana Ngabo wako.
Sure.
Okay, why? No, I cheated on you, Yabo. It was a one-night stand thing, and I think that's why it happened. Infinite.
Sure.
That's why I need it. This thing scrubbed off everything Luanda's ever done to me. I was like, Luanda wasn't stressed. Actually, that's stress. Yabo.
So tengene impahla so khulisile
wenza sure. So this girl prolonging I wonder because of that chick. Physically lost weight. I couldn't I'm a strong person, but I couldn't deal. I couldn't because also it was embarrassing. In a way, I'm a public figure. Abantu bayangazi. Ngiyafundisa and stuff. West part usangena kuleso skolo. So amachita they're congratulating me and I'm confused.
Sure.
I'm telling sicho mfana congrats sibonile umabhebe ezuraca. And I'm like, hey guys, you guys don't even want to know, hey. I don't even think umntwanami. And I've already invested. Lo muntu ngimpushile eskela, lo muntu bride, I've done a lot for that chick.
Sure.
Done a lot. And some things I felt she wasn't deserving. In fact, deserve uLuyanda. So finally umntana azalwe, makazalwa, still abaletha ngesise ekhaya.
Yeah.
Yabo. So umntana makaqeda ukuzalwa, I took umntwana, I gave them like a cushion 3 months, and then I asked her, can I take you out? She's like, no, you can come. That was the first time I met the child. So she didn't know that also Nambing Katele, emotionally I was drained. So I was like, I had went to Arvib, Ngapuka, I'm a paternity tests without the acknowledgement. I think I'm explaining the situation. So they like, no, you can come through. So they charged me, I paid. So the trick was getting the child to come now. So ngaya ngamlanda ngathi no man asincluded I Arvib kunenya choose yami spanala melingenzele something real quick yabo.
Yeah.
So safika ngathi I think ukumntwana yabo. So emastezini I was going fast, I was going quick because in my head I'm like, you know what, ngifuna umfikela kuqala ukuthi noma ngadenzani i-test ayenziwa namhlanje.
Yeah.
So she saw masingena lapha kubhaliwe DNA test. She was like, dude, why ngiletha la? I'm like, this has to happen. I need to know where I stand.
Yeah.
So finally signs my test. They came back 2 weeks later, negative.
Sure.
So cut all ties. All ties. To this day. No communication, no nothing. Cut all ties. I was like, hey, dude, I'm crying now. Limpasha, lucky enough, my cousin was pregnant at the time, gave everything to my cousin's sister.
Sure.
Yeah, bro. Le mal bengi sevile for ilobola, I bought a car.
Sure.
Like that's how messed up I was. Tengi mode, angane license, ngambangela nas ngayenzela uLuyanda.
Imagine.
Yeah, that's how fed up I was. You know? So yeah, that's when I took a moment that I need to be single.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to just take it slow. But the healing had started because now I knew where I stand. I'm not the father, so I'm good. Yeah, but because that's another thing. My parents were encouraging me to let it go. But for me, it's like, okay, what if Mdwana? And she's gonna question me, why didn't you make any means? Yeah, so that's why I decided, no, let me do my tests to set myself free. Yeah, so yeah, I did, and then that was the end of the relationship.
Sure. So manje after yonke lo drama, indlela ebuyela kuLuyanda ivela kanjani futhi?
Look,
because ilast sikhathi singakana nje leyo.
Yeah.
So yonke lento
that's why I get too quick.
uLuyanda akekho empilweni yakho ngaleso sikhathi nangu umuntu.
Completely.
So ibuyela kanjani ke manje?
I called her. The one thing I appreciated Luyanda was she wasn't one of those chicks where you call after 6 months and she'd be like, Ufunan. She was like, hey, how are you? Are you good? But you know, but being a phone because I being a phone tired. Are you good? I missed you immediately. You know, it's 6 months later and I'm calling you, but the vibe is So I was like, hey dude, honestly I missed you too, no, it's good talking to you. So we started speaking Ganjar. We didn't mix it at the time. So sometimes we text, crane. So
and that other guy said a Pumilo picture.
I didn't know and I didn't care. But to my understanding, bese bahlukene. We understand. Bahlukene at that time vela limala. Understand. So I think naye bekano muntu omunye at the time.
Andlali madoda move fast.
Look, I'll be honest with you, and I'm not gonna sidetrack. I personally don't believe in it's healing. That's what I believe in.
Yeah.
Because Maui one uhecho munyu muntu healer. What are you healing from? I don't know if you understand.
Yeah.
Because think about it.
It's
a journey.
Yeah.
If I hurt you and you are taking moment to zinto, what are you saying?
Yeah.
You being single for a year and taking yourself to a mall, taking yourself to movies or whatever, it's not healing.
Yeah.
It's something you can do even when you are in a relationship. So for me, it's not healing. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
So I wasn't necessarily healing. I wasn't. And and now she wasn't healing. We knew our situation. We were over our situation.
Yeah.
I understand. So I reached out to her. Kanti, she was afraid to reach out to me. Yeah, so one Sunday after church, I called her like, Ugopi, can I come through? She's like, yeah, come through. So I went, drove there. Upis and copies, a shy round. So we drove. I remember we went to Midrand. So I just wanted us to sit and talk.
Yeah.
So we just drove in the lane. We spoke. So I was like, look, man, and I'm in shy level.
Yeah.
And besides, dude doesn't give me that vibe, man.
Yeah.
So where to from here? It's like, I don't know. You tell me. Look, if you want to try this thing one more time, I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah.
She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I am sure. I'm 100% sure. So that's it. The rest is history. That's when we took each other serious that Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you have a boyfriend, go damn that guy. It's me and you now.
Yeah.
Exclusively. Is done. Mami, my drama is done.
Yeah.
Literally, we're starting from clean sheet. That was 2012, if I'm not mistaken. From 2012 to this day, we've never had a breakup.
Yeah.
I understand. So we started taking each other serious. Yeah.
So, ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi okay manje mase niqala le journey ne having leyo history leyo complicated.
Yeah.
Yini izinto you had to put in place amhlambe because now ubuya kuyohethwa nawe ubuya kuyohetheka yamthola ukuthi umuntu amhlamba angangeni la anama past experiences akuthatha mhlambe njenge ex nawe ungangeni usathana lento uthi hayi noma umuntu esifazane ifoni yakhe ngaba clean.
Yeah, true.
Chances yamthola how did you guys work through those things?
Look, it wasn't easy, ne? I'll be honest with you. It wasn't easy judging from our history. But somehow maturity had to kick in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm told. We were always mature, but now it had to kick in and it was serious. So I think the first thing that personally I put in test was I'm gonna try to pray no Luyanda.
Okay.
You understand? Something we've never done in the past. We're gonna try to pray before we sleep. We're gonna try to pray before we eat, whether it's a restaurant or whatever. We're gonna try to pray. In so doing, I'm just showing my dedication and commitment to say, look, I'm putting God between this.
Yeah.
So I promise you, Luanda, if any mistake would happen, I'm not gonna give you another chance. And vice versa. I made it.
Yeah.
I'm dedicated this time. I know what I want. And the worst part of it all, when Luanda came back at that time, already I was in the process of buying a house. So when we rekindled, she didn't know Guti, I was buying a house.
Yeah.
So I took her there. I'm like, dude, this is how serious my life is. And this is how serious I'm moving.
Yeah.
You either want to be part of this or you're left behind. But this train is moving right now.
Yeah.
So I think now she did a soul search. And finally she's like, you know what? I need to get on with times. I need to really take myself serious. You understand? So they welcomed her back because we were very tired, you know. And my mom honestly didn't approve of my other relationship.
Yeah.
She always went like, you know, my mom always said that.
Mother's Day, Father's Day.
And you know what's the craziest part? Even when Mother's Day, Luanda would bring something for my mom.
You lie.
I'm telling you. And that was my problem right there.
Sure.
She doesn't even call to check Uguti. No muntu wam or she would just come. I'll tell Mama something like, Ma.
Sure.
You know, there was this day, Luanda, she came, I'll tell my mom something. She didn't even come to my room to greet me. She came, one guy no bulisu mamami, I'm niggas and them hug, kisses, she left. And you know what's crazy? You hear the voice of Mudok with Begala.
Yeah.
But now she's gone. And coming out like, and then Ole, she's like, No, she left. She actually just came to give me 1, 2, 3. I was like, this girl.
Sure.
I understand this girl is crazy. But those small things also get to your heart to say this is a good person, genuinely. You understand? So yeah, we took each other serious, and along the process of taking each other serious, we fell pregnant. We fell pregnant. I think then being asana doubts where we were headed, because the started serious, communication was tight. Every weekend Bigala Lekaya should come on a Friday, leave on a Sunday. So things were getting more serious now, and we would see each other literally every day, because at the time being Sasa Lekaya, so every day we'd see each other.
Sure.
I purchased my second car. And then she would use the second car. You understand that? We game 17 and stuff. So you see now, sometimes more Tamilala Gubo. So there was no way family can now they couldn't take me serious. They could see this is going somewhere now. So yeah, she fell pregnant. I was excited, and that's part of me also deciding, no, I think now it's time to make her my wife.
Sure. So now I see you again emshadweni. So manje ngifuna sibuye emshadweni. Ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi yini mhlawumbe izinto sisebenzisayo just to keep i relationship yenu going umshado wenu uyilento eyiyo.
Okay. I would say that there's a lot of principles that need to be applied. What I normally do, Mina, is that okay, it works for me. It's reading. We understand. It's reading. What I've discovered is that in general, most relationship and marriages fail because of we solely rely on our thinking. I don't know if I'm making sense. You are conducting a relationship based on ingqondo zenu. But if you give time, you would realize that love on its own, it's a subject. Like any other thing, like umuntu magati, I'm going to school, I want to be a lawyer. It's a subject. Love alone, it's also a subject. There are people who dedicate their time, efforts, money into studying utando. And how to be successful around utando. And majority of people, we don't give ourselves that time. Let's be honest. We don't. You need to take a book and read about certain things. I normally say this. In life, there's 3 people. That's what I categorize how God created life. Kunabantu abamastera into unconsciously. They don't know that they're mastering it. Like maybe you're in a relationship, you've been with your person for the longest of time, and it's going well, and it's working out for you too, but there's no reading, there's no counseling, you guys are doing it correct, but unconsciously. And it's few people, honestly, it's very few. And then there's people who need to pick up a book and read about love and apply what they read. Go to counseling and apply that in order to get it right.
That's the majority of us.
We understand. Lastly, I don't think that's the majority. The majority is here. The majority is people who rely on their mind.
I get you.
That's the easiest part. So, mina ngimfuna uchero nje, no chero khona angimfuni awuchange. But they don't work on themselves to get the right partner. You understand that? So
that's the reading, right?
It has to be reading. For me, I read a lot. Unfortunately, Leonard doesn't like to read, especially in things food. Because Mina, I read everything. And I mean everything. I don't just read a specific subject. I read everything. So normally what I do, I mean, you must know, my love language is with spouse, it's important. So because she doesn't like to read, I read and I open things for discussion. Maybe we are taking a drive or whatever. I'm like, look, I read about this. What do you think? You know, now you are getting her in the motion of understanding. Which, okay, so this is where you are. You understand? Because remember, when you guys don't read or don't do counseling, eventually relationship is bound to be stale. It runs out of spark. because you do only what you know, and your mind can go as far as that.
Yeah.
And beyond that, same thing with Sikuluma about healing. Healing on its own, anyege uhile as long as you have the same mentality.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
True.
You're not changing your mindset, you are changing a partner.
That's
you know, you
yeah.
move into the next partner, but you have the same mentality. So
Yeah.
eventually it's gonna hit a dead end. Because the problem is not the relationship itself.
Yeah.
It's your mind. So reading for me opens up everything. You understand? It unlocks things. I wouldn't necessarily say you didn't know. It's things you didn't think about them thoroughly in that sense. Because
And Masolapo, you really need another mindset to take you to
100%.
another level.
100%.
Yeah.
So in any given relationship, kunama principles.
Yeah.
You understand? There are principles set by the society. There are principles set by maybe the congregation, and there are ones that you need to set for yourselves in a relationship. And you say, okay, this is how we abide, spila kanje. Because if you don't do that, then that means another direction.
Yeah.
You understand? It's okay if we made a groove while we're not groovy. There are no principles there. You understand?
Yeah.
So this is why I took my time as preparela and I brought them. You understand?
Yeah.
So for example, here I said the ones I want to focus on, it's 4.
Yeah.
The first one being, if you read Corinthians, it says the first foundation of life is Christ.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, already foundation has been built.
Yeah.
Which is who? It's God. That's not a question. So Luanda believes in God, I believe in God. That's our first foundation. Because we can pray together. Trust me, for some couples it's difficult to tandaza together.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
True.
So we are putting God in the middle of everything we do.
Yeah.
We understand. That's the first step. So now, let's look at the principle. The principle says you must form some type of connection which is formulated around God. You understand?
Yeah.
So with us, it's that. I'll tell you and you'd be surprised. When we wake up in the morning, first thing we pray. And our daughter is immune to that as well. She knows. When we eat, we pray. When we go out, we pray.
Yeah.
So when we come back, we also thank God for obviously protecting us.
Yeah.
You understand? So with me and her and Bonolo, in a day, C3, we can pray more than 5 times.
Yeah.
So do you understand, my brother Hore? The foundation is so solid that even if you cheat, you are also cheating your daily endeavors. Remember, you cheat no muntu ongathandazi.
Yeah.
Or even difficult to put in tenders. So for that day, you are also cheating on God. I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah.
You understand? That's my first and our first principle, and which is something I appreciate, because if you are not spiritually inclined, right then is over a problem.
Yeah.
Because also namadluzu wenu can't connect.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Some relationships, the first problem is that I believe kunkulunkulu, and I also have my ancestors.
Yeah.
You don't believe in ancestors. We have a problem.
Sometimes kube bese discussion the director yethu la ne DOP angengiqede. But
100%. But my thing is like, if you don't believe Buma ancestors and I do, we have a problem. Our relationship can't be successful because already the fundamental foundation is not right.
Yeah.
Maybe mina ngiyaphatha.
Okay.
So automatically amadlozi wethu will fight to a point ukuthi basenza will always go our separate ways, one way or another. It will happen. You understand? So for me, what works for me, it's that. That's the first thing. As like it's not. I'm not speaking Italian. She understands what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You understand?
We are aligned.
We are aligned. The second thing I said, regard your relationship as though it's permanent and irreversible. So when you're saying, I'm paying lobola for this woman, keep those 2 things in mind. Whatever we do, From 2012, I still say today, whatever you do, whatever fight we're having, asihlukani.
Yeah.
So take that out of your system. Ukuhlukana is not gonna happen.
Yeah. That
shouldn't even be part of your thinking. If we fight, we're gonna solve the problem. You understand? If we have issues, we're gonna solve them.
Yeah.
You understand? If there's a rock in the way, we're gonna move it.
Yeah.
However, it's not part of it. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes, in today's senses, which is it's okay. Melon is jail, because sometimes mangas jail, you're not aiming for anything. You understand?
Yeah. True.
So that would be my second thing. The third one would be very important: forgiving yourselves and forgiving others. Look, my brother, I dealt with so much that Luanda brought to the table, but I forgave everything she did. Everything. I forgave everything, because think about it. I was also doing some messed up things. So that's another thing men are not prepared to talk about. A man can go and cheat.
Yeah.
And come back and ask for forgiveness. And in your head, you think you are supposed to be forgiven. But when she goes out and cheat, it's an issue.
Yeah.
That,
sure.
No, as a man, my dignity is dented, whatever.
Yeah.
But think about it and think thoroughly. If you cheat, something in her shifts as well. You understand? And vice versa. So you need to forgive yourself for being in that situation as well. I allowed Ulanda and back and forth. I allowed it. So I need to forgive myself for allowing it to happen. First Chuck said that I should have been like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
But I allowed it to happen, to become a norm, that she kept repeating it. So now I need to forgive myself, and I also need to forgive her.
Yeah.
Can you believe today we talk about the ex? I can laugh about it. In fact, we even gave him a nickname. We talk about it casually.
Sure.
Casually. You understand? That's because I know in my heart of hearts I've forgiven her. Forgiveness, it's very important. You know, like I said, right now we speak about this guy casually.
Yeah.
Because I've accepted, she's accepted my mistakes as well. Because now I've brought a lot on the table.
Yeah.
And sometimes Tina Amatota, we like to act like angels, whereby not we have skeletons, and maybe ours is knee.
Yeah.
You understand? So I've done my fair share of mistakes. Some she found out, some she didn't find out.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: it doesn't make me a better person just because I'm a putama wabonagali. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's another thing we as men need to accept.
Yeah.
To say, okay, as much as I'm dealing no muntu. My mistakes, and when she does, I should be able to forgive.
Yeah.
You understand? And no matter we cheating, sometimes you need to forgive, not because you're stupid or naive, but because also she's human.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm encouraging that, but also I'm saying we need to be realistic. If Nama can go and cheat, she can go and cheat.
True.
You understand? It's only fair. So my last point is to use conflicts to be better. Normally when there's a conflict in any direction of life is to make you better.
Yeah.
We just don't look at it that way. But a conflict is normally to make someone better.
Yeah.
It's not
when there's conflict. Yeah.
Always conflict is something that at the end of the day, if you take it constructively, it's gonna build you. Somebody can't just criticize you for no reason. There's something there. If you pay attention, of course, you understand. So in a relationship, you need to learn Uguti. When there's a conflict between you and your partner, try to invest time into understanding them.
Yeah.
In Abanyabantu, a conflict like me, I prefer walking. She prefers talking.
Yeah.
So they clutch. So we get to a point where let's cool off and then let's revisit this issue when we are ready to talk about it. If we're not ready to talk about it, let's let it go.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna kill us. And also another thing is that dealing with the conflict, you must also try not to make it about you, even though the careless is from your side. You understand? You mustn't make it even like, okay, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
You are sorry. 1, 2, 3 happened. I promise you, it will never happen again. I'll do better.
Yeah.
You know. So those are some of the things that keeps the relationship going. You understand? And also, another thing that I strongly respect Moluyanda, it's patience.
Yeah.
She's been very patient with me. I mean, as I told you, Mangkali story she actually pushed me. You know, she pushed me to a point that we built our own house.
Yeah.
And she also encouraged me with, dude, look, be like in your arc. So I've built my parents a house. You understand?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. When I look at her patience gives me reason to love her more.
Yeah.
You understand? So, yeah, those are to summarize. Those are some of the things that I.
You know, into show, I was listening to these guys bakhuluma ngobuchichi, right? Esikhathini samanje ukuthi amadoda amaningi atafuna ukushada umuntu oyivirgin and all that, you know. So ngavela conversation ukuthi uzothola umuntu oyitshitshi ilokho kuphela nakho ayikho enye into. So ngicabanga lezi zinto oyishoyo manje ukuthi when we ukhuluma ngomuntu ukuthi lo ukuphushile iwife material ukubekelela ifini eyangithola nazi izinto esikhuluma ngazo ezenza umuntu wesifazane. So you find abanye abantu they get it twisted. You understand? Ukuthi mina ngifuna umuntu oke waba nomuntu kungukuthi wena uke waba nabantu.
I mean, ufuna ichichi wena uyichichi?
Yebo.
It's a simple question.
Yeah.
To understand. You probably wrote it yourself, but ufuna ichichi, it doesn't make sense. I think history was made for us to look back and be better. You understand? That's the ultimate reason.
Yeah.
Amakeles ayenze uluyanda in the past. Amakeles ayenze him in the past. They make me who I am. They make her who she is. If she hadn't made ama mistakes awenzile, she wouldn't be who she is today. You understand? And you have to acknowledge and respect that.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I always say, Mina, I wouldn't survive and I wouldn't date a woman who's not self-sufficient. And that's her. I find she's self-sufficient.
Yeah.
We understand. People feel entitled. With Mina, I need somebody who can do, who can. What about you? Can everything you list, can you do it for yourself? We understand. And for me, it's a challenge because, and it's one of the reasons most relationships nowadays are failing. There's so much things people want that the very same things they cannot do for themselves. It's an issue.
Yeah.
You cannot want uchito hamba ngemoto ngana moto.
Yeah, you tata.
Mina ngifuna out endlu. Awunandlu.
Yeah.
How do you then? I mean, if age gap it's 1 year like me and Luyanda.
Yeah.
How does she want a guy on a lingam?
How?
Ngudlula ngo1 year. Why when like, do you understand my point? So you should be self-sufficient. You should be enough before me.
Yeah. You
understand? And uzithande, that's another thing I always encourage. Sometimes she wants to go to a mall. I don't want to go to a mall. It's okay, go. You understand? There's nothing wrong. Go a mall you want. Get yourself a nice meal without me.
Yeah.
You understand? Because there was you before me. And for you to be happy, you still need to continue loving yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, loving yourself normally in this society comes after a relationship. Self-love. You should have self-love before the guy came into your life. It's basic, it's normal. You should love yourself.
Noma sekakhona still
uqhubeka. Noma sekakhona, Brian. Yeah. Njima because I want to be healthy, I want to look good.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with Luyanda. Nothing.
Yeah.
So if I want to go to watch movies, she doesn't feel like watching. I'm going to watch movies.
Yeah.
You understand that? I still do the things as Chandwa Yimi because when that tank it becomes easy for me.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. And if my tank is running on empty, how am I sustaining you now?
Yeah.
It's a problem.
But you can't pour from an empty can.
You can't. So me myself, I must be enough for me.
Yeah.
As Usijo. Then Nai Abe enough for herself as Ulianda.
Yeah.
Then when we combine, it's easy for us to build something.
Yeah. Sure. I think ngalokho bafethu I see koqala lapha namhlanje bengizobuza ukuthi what keeps them going, but I think we've already gotten that, you know. So ngiyajabula for the conversation yanamhlanje abantu ababukele bathole what ordinary men ukuthi maningi amajita who think like this. It's just bona unfortunately khona lababuye bangakhethi kahle khona uyangithola, but ngiyabonga for isikhathi sakho ukufika sibe nale conversation esibe nayo. Bafethu kena sigoqa la namhlanje ke ungakhohlwa ukulike usubscribe yiyo le what keeps you going with them Jalizi iphelela lapho ke siyabonga.
Thank you.
Sharp.